My best creative work, my favorite projects, the best things that I feel personally that I've written came from being playful. Guys, I'm Meredith, a book lover and author, figuring out how to turn creativity into a career. My years in brand strategy taught me how to break down big ideas into clear, actionable insights. And now I'm sharing the best lessons to help you build a creative life you love. In my experience, when I'm writing, the best stuff comes when you are playing, when you are having fun, when you are enjoying yourself. That's when the world just opens up for you. I believe that whatever energy you put into something will also be in the result of what you've built. I wanted to start with a story I heard about a popular candy company. So these candy employees, one day, they're in the boardroom, they're sitting around a big table, and they're all brainstorming. Picture the fluorescent lights, the whiteboard, and one guy's up there in a suit writing down all of their ideas. And so they're thinking about all the different things you can do with candy. They're like crunchy candy, chewable candy, blowing bubbles candy, and then one smart aleck guy shouts out, talking candy. And at first, everyone is like, what? But then the big boss reminds them, no, guys, there's no dumb ideas here. I'm gonna write it down. So he goes up to the whiteboard and he writes talking candy. And guess what that ended up becoming? Pop Rocks. You know Pop Rocks, the talking candies? Everyone knows Pop Rocks. So it came from just a stupid, playful idea that someone had in a boardroom and they just ran with it. So the point of the story is that play can lead to innovation, it can lead to groundbreaking ideas, and it can lead to personal breakthroughs. It's that kind of playful energy that kids bring when they say random things like, yeah, the dragon eats the spaghetti and then they save the knight. Like, why not? Okay, maybe that's kind of a good story about a knight saving a dragon. Let's flip it on its head. Because here's the thing. The weirdest, silliest stuff, that's the spark. That's the seed of an idea, and there's no dumb ideas in the beginning. There's only energy, there's only curiosity, creativity, and fun. When I let myself play when I'm writing, that's when I get good stuff. And the writing itself might not be good. I might have to go back and tweak it, but some little seed of an idea can lead me to something. And I feel like my writing is more alive and it's more surprising and it's more me. So could your book idea start as a joke that you tell your friend to be funny? Absolutely. And I used to feel really self-conscious about throwing out a playful idea like this, especially when I was working in advertising when there were other adults in the room. You know, I'm not just throwing out ideas to kids. And I would feel sort of hesitant to throw out an idea to my creative team when we were brainstorming, for example. And then I started just deciding to throw it out anyway. And sometimes it was like crickets, you know, they were like, okay, anyway, this is my other idea. And then sometimes they would say, huh, that's interesting. That reminds me of this other thing. And it would literally have nothing to do with what I said. Like they would have taken what I said and sort of interpreted it in this completely other way of thinking that I would have never come up with. But then it leads them to a great idea. And so if you can be just a stepping stone to someone else's great idea, I think that's great too. And a lot of your first ideas, they will look like chaos. They will not look polished or smart. But there's that moment where you're like, hey, I think there's something there. And I truly believe this. I think whatever energy and curiosity and fun you pour into something, that will show up in the final result. That's the energy people feel when they experience it. If you are stressed and tight and nervous when you were creating it, that will show up in the final result. But if it's fun and playful, that stays in the work. I think of brainstorms as the adult recess. The two things that I miss the most from grade school are free reading hour, where we'd have an entire hour to read whatever book we wanted, and recess. Kids love recess. I miss that so much. And I think of brainstorming and coming up with creative ideas sort of as like a mental recess. And when I'm doing a mental recess exercise like this, I try not to even have any good ideas. I write as ridiculously as possible. I even sometimes will write the weirdest things I can think of and then sift through that later for any seeds or sparks. And it's zero pressure. It's just play. The other way I use play in my work is letting my subconscious go off to play. I like to take walks in the park by my house, and there's this spot. It's 3/4 of the way through this lap, and a lap around the park is 2 miles. So 3/4 of the way, I always get ideas in this one spot. I think because I moved my body enough and let my mind drift off and subconscious drift off enough to come up with ideas. I have never had a good idea for a book or a project at my desk. It has always been when I'm walking, and that's because my subconscious can take a hike too. And the subconscious can just play and sift through your memories and things on a deeper level that you're not even conscious of. And that's when you get your best ideas. How I use play in my work? I talk to my characters out loud. Yes, literally out loud. I have full-on conversations, imaginary conversations with what I think my characters would say. Almost like they're in the room with me. And I know it sounds silly, but they all have their own personalities, and just by talking it out loud, it gives me ideas for things, especially around their motivations, their needs, and all their little quirks. And the bonus with that is it's surprisingly fun. The fourth way I use play in my work is I doodle. And I am not an artist at all, by any means. But there's a reason that we doodled when we were kids. It was fun, it was playful, and maybe it didn't lead to any groundbreaking insights when you were 5 years old, but if you use it as an adult, it's actually a great tool. I mean, you don't need any more permission to start doodling, right? And then lastly, I use play as my compass. If I find myself smiling, laughing at myself, or surprised at something I come up with, I know I'm on the right track. Play is my compass, so the more fun I have when creating, the happier I am, the more I'm laughing, that's when I know that something's good. And that just means the final story will be that much more fun for others to read too. So I always come back to play as my compass. And one way you can think of that is there's no dumb ideas, there's only first ideas. Play can really help you create your best work yet. So if this resonated, drop a comment with what's the weirdest idea you've ever had? I want to hear it all. And if you want more behind the scenes on creativity and how I write my books, hit the subscribe button to follow along on the journey. All right, I will see you next week. Bye guys.